What's happening, kids? This is Chapter 4, Lesson 5. Topic of this lesson is how to convert measurement units. We're going to look at three different types of conversions. Length conversions, like feet converting into inches. We're going to look at weight conversions, like how many pounds are in a ton. And we're also going to look at capacity conversions, like how much things can hold, like gallons, quarts, pints, those kinds of measurements. You're probably going to recognize some of the conversions today, and some of them might be new. They are also in your book on page 290, but let's add the conversions to our notes. Okay. So the first type of conversions we're going to look at are length conversions. So length conversions. The first one we're going to look at is feet in inches. For every 1 foot, you have 12 inches. And notice that the conversions, they look just like a fraction or a ratio, and that's what they are. There's 1 foot for every 12 inches. Okay, that's a conversion right there. The next one we're going to look at is yards in feet. For every 1 yard, there are 3 feet. Next conversion we're going to look at are miles in feet. So 1 mile for every 5,280 feet. So those are our length conversions. 1 foot for every 12 inches, 1 yard for every 3 feet, 1 mile for every 5,280 feet. And I'm just going to put a box around these conversions. There are our length conversions. Now, you can also flip the conversion around. Here's what I mean by that. I might want feet as a numerator unit. There are times where I might want inches as a numerator unit, and we'll get to why we would do that in a little bit. So you could also flip all of these conversions. So for example, 1 foot for every 12 inches, I could, if I wanted, I could also use this conversion. 12 inches for every 1 foot. Okay, so I'm just going to draw an arrow like this showing that the conversions can be inverted or flipped around, depending on what kind of unit you're trying to change to. Okay, the next kind of conversions are weight. A couple of weight conversions we're going to look at. And the first one is 1 pound. And the abbreviation for pound is LB. So 1 pound for every 16 ounces. And ounces is abbreviated by OZ. The next weight conversion we're going to look at is 1 ton. Capital T is a ton. So 1 ton for every 2,000 pounds. Those are the two weight conversions. But again, reminder that we could be flipping, these conversions could be flipped. We might use a conversion 16 ounces for every 1 pound. Okay, they can be inverted or flipped, just like these, depending on what unit you're trying to get to. The last type of conversions are capacity conversions. How much does a container hold? You can think of it like that. 1 cup. Cup is abbreviated with a C. 1 cup for every 8 fluid ounces. And that's abbreviated FL for fluid and OZ for ounces. So there's weight ounces and there's also liquid or capacity ounces. 1 cup for every 8 fluid ounces. The next conversion is pint, and that's the letter P. 1 pint for every 2 cups. The next one is 1 quart, QT. 1 quart for every 2 pints. And the last one is 1 gallon for every 4 quarts. So these are length conversions, weight conversions, capacity conversions. Okay, so now let's get to how do you actually make conversions. And this is the trickiest part. To make conversions, if you're multiplying an amount by a conversion, same unit numerator and denominator units will cancel. And you'll be left with the numerator of the conversion that you've got. So let me show you what that looks like. And I'll write that down, what I just said. Multiply by a conversion that will cancel multiply by a conversion that will cancel units and leave the units that you want. For example, let's say that we're starting with yards and we want to change it to feet. Well, if I'm starting with yards and I want to change yards to feet, I want a conversion. If yards is my unit, I want yards as my denominator unit in my conversion. Numerator unit, denominator unit, these are going to cancel. So and I want to change it to feet. This would be the conversion that I want. If I'm trying to go from yards to feet, this would do it right here, this conversion. Numerator unit, denominator unit, cancels. That's the big idea for today. If you have yards as a numerator and yards as a denominator, those are going to cancel each other out and you're going to be left with feet. That is how you're going to convert today. So I'm just going to highlight that. Yard and yard. Cancel, cancel. Same unit, numerator and denominator are going to cancel, and you're going to be left with this unit. So I'll be left with feet. So now let's actually follow this in an example. So let's say you're being asked to convert 8. You've got 8 2/3 yards, and you are trying to change that into feet. 8 2/3 yards is how many feet? So I'll start by writing down what I'm starting with. 8 2/3 yard. 8 2/3 yards, and we want to change that into feet. I'm going to multiply by a conversion. I want yards to cancel, so I want yards as my denominator. I'm going to go back to this right here. I want yards as my denominator, and I want feet left, so I'm going to look at this conversion, but I'm going to look at the inverse of this. I actually want this one, this conversion, but I don't want 1 yard for every 3 feet. I'm going to use 3 feet for every 1 yard. I'm just going to use, like I said, you could flip the conversions. Start, focus on the units. That's really key today. Yards. I want to get rid of yards. So that means in my conversion, I want yards here. Numerator, denominator. These are going to cancel each other out. And the unit that I want is feet. So I want feet right here. So that is where I'm going to be starting. This is the conversion that I want to use right there. Well, now I can look back up here and see how many feet goes with how many yards. It's 3 feet for every 1 yard. Now I'm just going to multiply. These are going to cancel each other out. Yards are going to cancel, and I will be left with how many feet that is. Cancel, cancel, and now I'm just going to focus on multiplying mixed number times a fraction, which we've done. So I'm going to mad face 8 2/3, and I would get 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 makes 26. My denominator stays 3, and then I'm going to multiply times 3 over 1. And here is where I can simplify. 3 and 3, I'm going to divide both of those by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now I'm going to multiply across. 26 times 1 is 26. 1 times 1 is 1. 26 over 1 is 26. And my unit, remember, yards canceled, and so we're left with feet. That is, in fact, that's the unit that I'm left with, so my answer is 26 feet. So, again, the big idea today is start with the units. Look at what you're starting with and what are you trying to get to. And then match up your conversion with a numerator unit and a denominator unit that will cancel each other out and leave you with the unit that you want. So really follow the units today. That's my biggest hint. And again, these are all your conversions right here, and you can use these conversions as well as the flip, depending on what you're trying to convert to and what you're trying to find. All right, that does it for converting measurement units. You'll get your practice problems in class, and here is Hidden Treasure for today. Go to page 38 in your workbook and the power-up question number 23, and there are 2 answers for this problem. You need both. So again, page 38, question number 23, both answers. If you've got them both and can explain, you could win Hidden Treasure on the next lesson. That does it for lesson 5. I'll see you very soon for lesson 6.